Missions Pulse. Know God's heart, join His mission.
You said you hope that the church would kind of be on mission. And man, I know the reality. I just had a guy named Todd Johnson, Dr. Todd M. Johnson, at the Center for the Study of Global Christianity. And he was throwing out some statistics, and I've seen that they're real over the years as well, because I live in the Buddhist world in the 1040 window. 86% Muslims, Hindus, Buddhists do not know a Christian. I think sometimes we forget that people have not necessarily outright rejected Jesus. It's just that they've never been presented an opportunity. I most certainly speak of this in the 1040 window. I know this is true where there are unreached, unengaged people groups, tribes, ethno-linguistic peoples who have never had a chance to hear the name of Jesus. Now we live in a globalized world. They're moving down the street from you. Everyone's zip code in North America has a local cuisine, Asian restaurant, whatever.
Yes.
That may include people who represent unreached people groups. I mean, I've had people tell me first steps might be going down to try the local delicacies at their local restaurants. I guess what I'm saying is, would Jesus be found in the local mosque, Gary? Or is it a how dare you be there? Shouldn't you be at church? I mean, is this the call that you're trying to bring? Let's cross beyond our boundaries?
Yes, I wrote an article, USA Today magazine published it, Bridging Friendships Across the Belief Divide.
Wow.
And,
sounds
really
dangerous.
Yeah, I believe that's exactly where Jesus would be. That's exactly what Jesus did. He crossed barriers, and he smashed the cultural barriers that were there within Judaism to reach out to people, and we should be doing the same. We live in a polarized and pluralized world, and there's these huge divides that are there. And yet, if Christians are really willing to learn some of the skills on how to get beside others in relationships, and there are some skills to learn on how to do this, and I'll share about that in a moment. But if they are, they can actually experience the reward of having really valuable friendships with people who do not believe as they do, and also the opportunity to actually influence somebody. If we do not have relationships, we are not in position for influence.
Yeah. Wow, those are strong words and so powerful, right?
Oh, yeah. It's like, you might as well kiss it goodbye. You immediately brings up this image of a guy with a placard, with a turn and burn sign, or God hates fags, pardon my language, but they're out there. Yeah. And that's not, I think, this evangelistic method or skill set that you're describing. Yeah, dump the one-hit wonder, hit and run kind of thinking, just going to share with somebody, a stranger. Now, I realize there are moments when we have those opportunities where we can have a meaningful conversation, and I'll take those too as the Lord's leading. But if we're talking about making disciples, which is what the call is.
Yes.
It's not just to tell the gospel, it's to make disciples. It requires a relationship.
And I like how you pause right there, because I think many people, again, going back to losing the plot idea, they don't know that the goal is to make disciples. We think we're supposed to pray a prayer of salvation and ask Jesus to come into our heart, which is obviously not found in the Bible whatsoever. Maybe we'll address that another time. But making disciples, Christ followers, the goal here, Matthew 28:18 through 20, right? Go therefore.
Right. Yeah.
And we stop.
Yeah.
It's not about going therefore. It's
teaching
about making
them
disciples
and teaching them
of all nations.
Yeah. How is that going to happen? How is that formation? And I like to kind of call faith formation. How does faith formation happen? And so I had a chance to journey with two skeptics some years back. One was an atheist, and the other was a theistic skeptic, believed in God, but did not believe in Jesus. And so I had journeys with these people, relational journeys, 9 months and 6 months, respectively, and both ended up coming into the faith.
Wow.
And when it happened, I kind of stepped back and I said, wow, what happened? And I actually saw this faith formation take place, that they went through these stages. And so I teach this in Soul Whisperer as well as ReMission, but these stages they had to be open, they had to be open to a conversation. They had to be open to meet with me. And so there's kind of some skills with people like at that initial stage. How do you draw interest? How do you draw them into a conversation with you, getting together and meeting with you on a regular basis? They had to be open to kind of explore, really. But then they also, you think about this, an atheist, someone from another religious faith, they had to be able to believe. They had to be able, and there was a lot of work. You can only imagine how much work it is with an atheist to get to the place where they could be able to actually, truly, legitimately believe that this was true. And so that's where a lot of the apologetics was. That's where that kind of, I call it platform building. You're kind of building a platform that they could stand up on. And then still, both of them had to really want it. There was a motivational side.
Yeah.
There was the personal part. And we couldn't just it wasn't just the head, it was the heart. And they had to go through that. And then the decision, they had to choose to believe. And so I call those the progressions, the faith formation progressions. But none of it gets in motion outside of getting in position. And I'm at a mega church right now, and I've attended there. They did a little series on making it known, okay? And they did 36 interviews with people in their congregation, and they were all kind of talking about, how are they making it known? And I watched every one of those as a case study. Okay. Every one of those videos, okay? And so here's the question I was asking: who are they making it known to?
And people who look like them and dress like them and go to the same places and are the same color and speak the same language? Yeah. Is that what it was?
My concern was that they didn't have ongoing relational conversations that were happening.
The framework behind these platforms, right?
Yeah, they weren't in a position where they were meeting with someone on a regular basis and there was an ongoing type of dialogue that was happening where they could reach them. So, again, let me just share this about reaching out to my Imam friend. So how did that happen? People ask me, how did that happen?
How did that happen? Just wandering in the local mosque or what? I had some friends knew him and they talked about him and they were going out for dinner and I jumped in and I said, hey, I'd love to go out for dinner and meet the Imam and his wife. And so we did. We had this wonderful dinner and it was a great time. But I didn't want it just to be that. And so I, sensing the Lord's leading, I called up to the mosque and asked for him and said, hey, I enjoyed the dinner. That was just great. But hey, you know what? I'd love to get a chance to get to know you a little bit more on a personal level. How'd you like to get together for a coffee? So we got together for a coffee. And then at the coffee time, I then said, hey, you know what? I would be interested in learning more about Islam, and I would love to share some of my faith as well. But if we're going to do that in a meaningful way, we need to get together each week. I love this intentionality that you're doing. Also placing yourself in the position of a learner. I think so many times it's so easy for people to see this kind of carrot on a stick. I want to get together with you. Boom, blast them at Starbucks with the gospel, and you know nothing about the Quran. So I think that posture of a learner is very important. That intentionality that you brought up.
Yeah, and there's complete mutuality here, and I kind of talk about this going. Yeah, relational, respect, honor, we have a fantastic friendship.
Wow,
we
that
really
is awesome.
do.
Very cool.
I really, he's amazing. And, I tell you, I just think, gosh, he could be like just a best friend, but we just come from entirely different places as far as what is truth.
Sure.
But we've bonded together into a search for the truth. And I have not, fully cracked that box open, but I'm working on it. And it does take time. It's investment. Not every person you reach out to is going to be a long, long journey like this one. There's an awful lot of people who can come to faith quicker if Christians learn some skills on communicating the gospel more resonantly.
Missions Pulse. Know God's heart, join His mission. This podcast is powered by Within Reach Global. Subscribe, watch, and listen on YouTube today. Visit missionspulse.com.